I'm Brad from KBC. I'm going to show you how to replace your old carriage with the new carriage that is made to accommodate the new NADD toy. So with this new toy, it requires the strings to be and your attachment points to be 12 inches apart instead of the 24 inches apart that our old carriages were. So to do this, it's pretty simple. First, you're going to start off by unclipping the small carabiner from your motor or your manual tensioner. Once you got that unclipped, it helps if you use either clothespins or some sort of clip to be able to, so your strings aren't going everywhere. So if you clip this top string onto the black support of the boom, and then release the tension on your string here, unclip your yellow string from here. So the new carriage comes with new yellow strings because it does change the length on those. So you want to make sure you save your clip that's on your black string. And you're going to unroll all of the string off of your carriage. Now this is only wrapped on here for the motorized rigs. If it is a manual rig, it's the same process. You just won't have to unroll or rewrap the string as much. Okay, once you have your string unwrapped, you take another clip and just flip this string up so that it's out of the way. And you're going to want to untie the knot here that's coming off of this clip. So that you can pull your string all the way out. And like I said, there's a lot less string to have to pull through there if it is a manual rig. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. You're just going to untie from the spring tensioner. Now that you have your strings untied from the carriage itself, you're going to remove the screw on this last section of your boom, and you'll be able to remove this section. And then this is already a new carriage. So what you're going to do is slide your new carriage onto this last section and then reinsert that and reconnect it onto the boom. Now you'll have to unwrap your string. It's typically just bundled up hanging on this side. Unwrap all of the yellow string. You can connect it to your motor or your manual tensioner. All right. So you'll take your top string that you have clipped up. You're going to run it back through your pulley. So to reattach this one, it's going to be the same process as taking it off. We have added these plastic inserts into the end of the tube, which does make this process a lot easier. It guides the string to where when you push it through, your string pops out easily. It also keeps your string from getting frayed as far as when you're switching from manual to motorized or vice versa. And you're just gonna tie that onto the eye bolt for the spring tensioner to where that moves freely. Then unclip your other string. This is the string coming from the motor. Feed it through this other side. And then in the bottom of this clip, there's a hole. You just feed it through. And just tie a small knot so that it can't pull back through. So if yours is a manual rig, all you're gonna need to do is probably 1 or 2 wraps, depending on how much string you prefer to have on the boom side. And for the manuals, this will be pretty well what you end up with. For the motorized rigs, you'll have a lot more string to wrap up. I recommend just sliding the stopper and getting these yellow strings slightly out of your way. Makes it a lot easier to wrap it up on here. So when you have it wrapped almost all the way up, to tighten up the tension, so with the spring tensioner, you want the spring tensioner depressed halfway to where it is got an equal distance between the eyelet and this black mount and the nut. So most of the time that will require just like a half of a wrap or a wrap around this last peg. You unclip your string and make sure that is about halfway. Alright, so when you get the new NADD toy, it'll have some blue paracord with these rubber stops on the end. Those rubber stops are made to clip into your toy. What we recommend is taking your strings for the KBC AR rig, and you can take your clips off, your standard metal clips off of the key ring, and then that rubber stopper, when you remove the blue string, you can actually feed it through the key ring and use the same strings. These strings are pretty important for when your toy is raising and lowering, when you bring it in and out. The weighted string actually helps a lot with that, especially when it's raining or when the yellow string is wet from doing hydro dash or anything like that. When you get that clipped on, it'll work on the standard strings. Your adjustments should be the same because these strings are the same length as the old Nerf toy and the Atlas. When using this toy, to make it release better, the weight you have on the cart of your rig is very important to that. The more weight you have on the rig, the more solid the rig is, and the less flex that there will be as far as from the ground, making it more solid, making it a lot easier for the dog to pull the toy off. So if you do not already have your rig set up to where it is raising and lowering the toy each time you push the button, if it's motorized, or pull the strings whenever you're in manual, so each time that the carriage goes back and forth, it raises and lowers the toy so that you can change your toy without having to raise and lower the boom. I do strongly suggest that that feature is set up. In order to do that, you're just adjusting your stopper to where you have enough for each time the carriage comes in and out. It raises and lowers your toy. This is also very helpful when using this new toy, because whenever a dog was to accidentally grab a blue strap on the toy and it doesn't release from your rubber stopper, if it doesn't, then it will pull and allow the dog to safely hit the ground or hit the pool without damaging the rig. Then also the lanyard clips that come with all of our strings. I highly suggest that the small lanyard clip is used for attaching your strings on. Those will break free as well before it damages your rig. So whenever your dog grabs it, it'll pull, and either the carriage will move out of the way and lower the strings, or the lanyard clip. Those are two safeties that we have incorporated to try to make it to where if a dog was to grab even our yellow strings, it'll do the same thing. For tips with setting that up, if you don't already have it set up for raising and lowering, check out our original operation and assembly video. I'll have links to it in this video. About 23 minutes into that particular video is where I explain all of the settings with the stoppers on the yellow, which will control how far it goes down for you to change the toy each time.